Hello again, this is Evan.
Hey, this is Robert.
Welcome to the Atlas Nova Monday podcast.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah. Usually we bring up news stories and stuff, but there's really not much going on. So instead, maybe we'll talk about some upcoming games for 2019 and whether or not we give them a pass or if we give them the pedestal.
Okay, I like it.
All right, cool. What do you think, Robert? Is there any games other than Kingdom Hearts and Resident Evil 5 that you're Resident Evil 2 remake? Resident Evil 5 is not a very good game.
Yeah, I was going to say, God, please don't remake that
one. What are you looking forward to this year?
Yeah, so those are definitely a couple of ones. DMC 5 is another one for sure. Looking forward to that. You know what? I'm looking forward to Skull and Bones, I think, is the Ubisoft, pirate game.
Mm-hmm.
Only because I really enjoyed that, whole pirate, on the high sea kind of, attitude and all that jazz. But at the same time, it's Ubisoft, so...
Yeah, we'll see how they handle it. Specifically, I guess... So there's an Assassin's Creed game that came out a few years ago called Black Flag.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's an Assassin's Creed, but when you're not doing Assassin's Creed stuff, you're on the high seas with a boat and a ship and a crew, and you can engage in naval combat and also hunt white whales and leviathans.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That was easily the best part of the game.
Yeah.
And people were crying out for a new one.
Yeah.
Just a game based on that. And they're like, nah, we don't want to do it. And then a few years passed, and they're like, okay, we're going to do it.
Oh, free, easy money? Okay, we'll do it. I think the sea shanties are something that really made that, feel alive as well.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome. I really enjoyed playing that game for that specific little gameplay loop.
Yeah. We'll just see how deep it gets, really. How deep the gameplay gets. I'm not so much in terms of story, but, I'm thinking this is Ubisoft, and I'm thinking, well, with Division... and with Division 2 coming out. I played the Division, not religiously, but I didn't find it particularly deep in terms of gameplay. You go to the Dark Zone, which is the PvP areas, and that's probably the most interesting part of that game.
And even then, it was frustrating. I mean, it was really, it had its moments. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. It was a 50-50, but there were some times where, you weren't finding really good loot, and if you did that few times that you did, you would be like, all right, time to extract it, and then you get fucking wasted, and just
incredible highs and pedantic lows.
Yeah, it's Division 2. I haven't really followed too much upon it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's another Ubisoft game, and unfortunately, they've kind of burned me in the past, so I'm just kind of like.
Yeah.
The content wasn't there, the quality wasn't up to par, and it's I'm just not going to give you any more of my money.
Well, with Ubisoft in particular, they have a very interesting business strategy where they release a game that sucks, and then they fix it with updates. And they've done this with Rainbow Six. They did it with The Division. Mm-hmm. They also did it with, I don't know if For Honor got any better, but just the fact, I played the beta for Honor, and that was literally a week and a half before the game came out.
Yeah. So I mean, I know that they say that those betas aren't the gold version or the going gold version of the game, and that's still a few iterations before.
Yeah.
So it's not completely indicative, but it's 80%. That's what the game is gonna be like, and it had a lot of bugs that you had to deal with, and just as far as the gameplay, it was fun. Mm-hmm. But then when people would just sit there and just any other game would just be cheesy.
And
they're all right, well I'm playing Viking and I'm gonna stand over here next to the bridge because I can always knock you off, and it's just
Do you remember what the actual issue with For Honor was at launch, though, and everybody was like, what are you doing? Was because they were marketing it as a fighting game, but with a rock, paper, scissors type thing. And I would say it's a fighting game. It's very unique in that aspect. But what they did is they're like, we're not going to have dedicated servers. We're going to be peer-to-peer, and that's what killed the game.
Yeah.
It took forever for people to even get into a game, and even then they would get disconnected or people would lag switch.
Mm-hmm. The peer-to-peer thing has never worked. I don't understand. I mean, I guess it costs too much for them to do it, but just get servers.
Yeah.
If you're starting up a multiplayer game, just have servers.
Yeah.
You need that system in place so we can like have a good time. Because if we can't even connect or we're sitting there dealing with lag issues, dude, your game's going to get boring real quick. And they're not going to stick around. Your microtransactions aren't going to flow because what's the point? I can't even see it. I can't even play it.
Yeah, they put out AAA games that seem AAA on the surface, but you can just tell, like, you kind of, like, you pull a string out of that sweater and the whole thing just kind of falls apart.
Yeah. And then it's like, what cheap, like, material did you make this out of? And they're like, oh, we'll give you a better sweatshirt in, like, a year or two.
Yeah.
It'll be better.
What blows my mind is they get away with it sometimes. Just look at the fucking I got Resident Evil on the brain. Rainbow Six Siege. That game was not well received, but with continual updates, they actually managed to grow a community with that game.
Yeah, that game has a really strong following. I admittedly, I played,
I've never played Rainbow Six Siege. I've played Rainbow Six games online, though.
Yeah. As I say, I remember playing it, like, on Steam and stuff like that a long time ago.
I like the cut of its jib. I wouldn't say I heard that it's a toxic community. I heard that it's a very go-hard community.
Sure. And for me, that's not bad, because I definitely want to, like, be playing with people who are trying to go hard, and they're not, like, not playing the fucking objective. So, yeah, the Division 2 looks interesting as well, but I think it is going to suffer from, like, that For Honor.
I'm expecting it to be the same way that they launched the first Division, in a
Exactly.
broken state. But, so yeah, Ubisoft's got a few games coming out. The Division 2, which we really haven't been looking into. I admittedly haven't looked into Skull and Bones, but when I see some, like, solid, like, gameplay or maybe some Let's Plays, I think that's when I'll know whether or not to pull that trigger.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I'm going to buy it day one.
No.
I'll definitely wait to see what people say. I'll check the Reddit for it or something. And if they're like, oh, it's great, and I'll, cross-check with another website and be like,
Yeah.
is Reddit just writing that?
Mm-hmm.
And, we'll see. Like I said, I loved Assassin's Creed naval battles, so...
Yeah, that was definitely the best part of that series, in my opinion. Who else has got games coming out?
Well, of course, we've got From Software with their baby Sekiro.
Oh yeah, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
Mm-hmm.
I've been purposely not looking at stuff. I watched the trailers and I watched one of the boss fights where he's fighting this big guy on a bridge and it has like 3 or 4 phases.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, actually.
Yeah, but other than that, I haven't really looked into it. The thing I thought was interesting, though, just from that boss fight, compared to like Bloodborne or any other Soulsborne game, is they don't telegraph how long the boss fight is based on the health bar. Each phase has its own health bar now, so you don't know really how many phases you're getting into. And I'm hoping some of these boss fights have like crazy phases.
You gotta like pause and you're like, holy shit.
I really don't know what to make of it until I have it in my hands. But I love From Software. I love Miyazaki, who works there.
Yeah, they've had a pretty good track record.
Yeah.
Quality is there. Mm-hmm. Well, Anthem was coming out, right?
Anthem comes out in February.
Is it February? Okay.
February 10th, I believe. Let me double check. Anthem is 22nd of February. I apologize.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so then we've got RE2 and Kingdom Hearts 3 in January. So it's a pretty good way to kick off the year.
Oh, February, we're also getting the Metro game. I didn't know that was coming out so soon.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the Metro game?
So I'm indifferent. I've played all of them, but this one looks cool. The whole, like, desert theme kind of took me back a little bit, and so does the open world thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand the necessity to have everything open world.
Well, you were mentioning to me that there's biomes in this one?
Yeah, so there's, like, a desert area, there's, like, a forest area, there's, like, a urban area, and there'd probably be a metro area, because the game is called fucking Metro. But...
Where's there a desert in Russia? Is this set in Russia?
Yeah, I mean, the last two were.
Yeah.
It's probably because of the, like, whole nuclear and, like, all that bullshit, so.
It is supposed to be a continuation of the last two games.
Is it?
Yeah. It's not based on a book, but the team worked hand in hand with the author.
Gotcha.
Himself.
Okay, well, that's cool.
So it's supposed to be very, it's canonical for sure.
Nice. And it'll have some good story, because I dig that story. It's pretty awesome.
Me too. It's really good. It's, the story, and man, some of those story beats in those games actually border on art, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm blowing too much smoke up its butt.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of intense moments.
Yeah, it looks cool. That part kind of is like...
Yeah, the desert, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of... They just put it out. It's like a 30-minute or 60-minute gameplay reel, and they show a lot of that stuff. And you can, like, drive a car now, or, like, this weird makeshift truck. The crafting system works differently. I like that. I think that should is a good addition to the game. You can, like, open up your backpack and you can mod your gun out however you want it. Like,
oh, cool.
Yeah, exactly. You can choose the barrel, the scope, the grip, and all that jazz.
One of the things I really liked about the second Metro, I don't remember if they did it in the first, but they used ammunition as currency. Are they going to continue that?
It's a good question. I don't know.
I always thought that was a really cool gameplay mechanic.
Yeah.
Because the idea was, was it specific ammo or was it all ammo?
It was specific ammo, and it was you could use it.
Yeah, and it was really good.
Yeah, or you could just use it as currency.
Yeah, and that's some really good like player choice making right there.
Yeah, that's cool. It definitely makes you go, huh?
It makes you want to replay it too. Like, okay, well, I spent all this ammo. Let's use this awesome gun the entire game and see how far I get.
Let me shred through some people.
Yeah,
some mutants, aliens.
And that's the kind of player choice that I like in video games. Not this, like we brought up last time, a Radiant wheel with 3 choices on it, and it doesn't fucking matter. Like, you literally have items in your inventory, and you're like, these are super fucking useful, but I really want to buy that flamethrower.
Damn. Flamethrower, extra good damage.
Mm-hmm. So we got Metro Exodus in February. We've got Anthem. I know you played the beta, but we can't really talk about that. Did you enjoy what you played?
Well,
what was some of the updates you just looked up? You mentioned, like, a Forbes article came out, and they're like, oh, it's already better than Destiny because you don't need to play 3 different characters.
Yeah, so the article was stating that, like, it's better than Destiny 2 in the aspect that I don't have to make 3 characters. The one character I make can wear all the javelin, which is the mech suits. I can wear any javelin I want. So, that is cool. I do like that. It's kind of, obviously not to the scale, but like when you make a character in Final Fantasy XIV, the MMO,
right?
You can be any class you want. And you just switch at however you want to do it.
Really?
So, like, let's say you're out doing a raid.
So you just pick a class.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, like, let's say you leveled all the classes. And you're out doing a raid.
That's sick, okay.
And,
that's classic Final Fantasy, actually.
Yeah. And your tank calls out, and you're like, well, I'm DPS, and I've got a tank set. I'll switch right now, and someone else just go to grab a DPS.
Okay.
And that's it. So it's really cool. I like that aspect.
Yeah, I like that, too.
Some of the skills look cool. Of course, the fucking sorcerer, or I don't know what it's called, looks really cool. Like, it looks way cooler more so than the other 2. I don't know if maybe I'm leaning towards a warlock sorcerer kind of character now. Usually I'm like gravitating towards hunter class, but no, dude, like it looks really fucking sick.
Sick. It's very interesting. This is EA's attempt to compete with Activision, now Bungie's Destiny 2.
Yeah.
So they're indirectly taking a jab at Activision here now.
Oh yeah.
Do you think it has, because WoW was a thing, and then when Knights of the Old Republic Online was coming out, everybody and their mother, myself included, was saying, "Oh, this is a WoW killer. This is gonna kill WoW." Do you think Anthem is gonna have the Wii.
Some clout to that.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, every MMO that came out was a fucking WoW killer.
That's how you marketed your game in a post-WoW world.
Exactly. But on point, I would say that I think it could damage the community as far as like taking some of like the hardcore Destiny fans and bringing them over because it's a fresh gameplay loop. They want to enjoy it, or maybe people will play both. I know that both of these games are kind of like that lifestyle kind of game now, where they want you to keep fucking logging on every day, like I'm an MMO.
Right.
But I don't know. To me, it's got EA's name on it. And to me, that's already one giant red flag on the field. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. That's another game that I'm not going to pre-order. I'm not going to day one it. I'm just going to stand back, see what people are saying, and see if it's maybe like a Titanfall kind of situation where they're like, oh, no, this is a good one. You need to get it. And then I'll be like, all right. And I'll see if you want to get it, and maybe we'll check it out. But other than that, I'll wait.
Yeah, I probably won't play it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be upfront.
Okay.
But, I said that about Destiny, so what do I know? Also, it says here in February, I just found this. For the Nintendo Switch, they're going to get a Blaze Blue game. Yeah. I like Blaze Blue. I'm terrible at it, but I like the people who make Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear. They just... Not only do they just have some of the best... They don't even use sprites anymore, but the engine that they do use is fucking gorgeous. And they look like sprites until they cut away from that side view. And then it's like full rendered 3D.
And like clips or story beats. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fucking great. And another reason I love these people is they have... like hands down the best internet for any fighting game.
Yes. So they've got that on point. We tried. I think it was Corey. We played Guilty Gear XRD Zerd.
Yeah, I watched you guys play that.
And it ran pretty good.
Yeah.
I know that their like input lag and like latency is pretty good too. At least I
well,
felt
even
like
compared to like some other behemoths, like Street Fighter V had like not the best.
Street Fighter V, I believe it had its
latency wasn't that great.
Yeah, the latency was not good.
The less said about Smash, the better.
Yeah, that's another one. I think it's still an issue.
And I'm not really particularly good at fighting games, but I did... Was it last year? I can't remember. But whenever Injustice 2 came out, I played that a lot online, actually. I wasn't good at it. But it wasn't terrible, but you could tell there was latency. Right. I've never seen latency with a Guilty Gear or a Blaze Blue game. And that's why I have just untold respect for those people, because they get it.
Yeah, agreed. They definitely pour their heart into that craft, and it shows.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, speaking of fighting games, Dead or Alive 6 is coming out. Titties!
Yeah. Where's the volleyball? Man, you know what they should bring back?
What's that?
Rumble Roses.
Yes!
I know. We were like, holy shit. You misogynist pig. No, dude, Rumble Roses was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
It was such a fucking cool game. I remember being like...
It was fun.
Just a really... God, we were like young as... Yeah.
Yeah, we were definitely at the puberty stage when that game came out.
So, of course, Rumble Roses was like...
Yeah, mud fights.
Yeah. But no, I liked it. I think wrestling games are pretty fun in general. Yeah. When you can just kind of fuck around and have fun. And yeah.
I agree. I wonder how that game would be received in today's climate.
I don't even think it would get past the drawing board. Mm-hmm. Someone would start writing it on the idea board and what the... Get that out of here.
I don't know if Rumble Roses is Japanese or not, but it definitely wouldn't leave Japan if that happened.
Yeah.
Much like Dead or Alive Volleyball 3 I don't think really ever got much of a release in America.
They probably like released it in America, but like a super like collective edition
It
where
was
they're like
super low key.
they were just like, it has all that stuff that was DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Check out that beach.
Check out them titties.
You're like, okay. I'm okay, Dad.
Apparently, also in March, we're getting the final chapter. I believe it's the final chapter in The Walking Dead, which I only bring that up because I'm surprised it even got made after all of that bullshit that happened with that developer.
Aren't they done? Like,
they're pretty much done.
Yeah.
I think this was their last thing. They're like, we need to make sure that this gets done.
Gotcha.
And then they fired their team, their staff, and then they rehired them back just to work on this game, I think.
Oh, that's so mean.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, fellas, you're not done yet. Come back. Like, no, I'm not coming back.
It says here in April, final DLC for Shovel Knight's coming out, which is King of Cards, where he plays King Knight. There's been 3 of them so far, and all their DLCs has been pretty fantastic. I didn't really care for Plague Knight all that much, but Spectre Knight was, in my opinion, better than the base game.
Damn.
But also, alongside that release of King of Cards, they're coming out with an extra mode called Showdown, where it's a 4-player versus fighting game.
What, like Smash? Kind of like?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it until now.
Interesting.
I guess I'm assuming you play as all the characters you can play as in the games. You got Plague Knight, Spectre Knight, Shovel Knight, and King Knight. So there's your 4. So that should be cool.
Yeah, that ought to be interesting.
There's only one game coming out in August, Shenmue 3. That's going to be interesting.
I don't
know what that game's going to look like. I don't know if it's going to be good.
I don't know. I think it's missed its window of opportunity.
I think so,
it's
too.
It's long gone.
For those who don't know, Shenmue was a game on the Dreamcast that was super revolutionary at the time, and it probably is responsible for QuickTime events being in video games for the next decade following its release.
Absolutely.
The second game was released on Xbox, and this was a whole, like, they were going to release like 10 games in this series, and they just didn't make a third one, but there was an MMO in Korea based on the property.
What the?
I know, and I always wanted to play it. Because I don't hate Shenmue, but it's super dated now, and for them to just be like, oh, we're going to make a new one, is it going to, if just based on Shenmue being so as dated as it is it going to be the same thing? Because it's definitely...
That's why I'm so lost. I admittedly never played any of them.
Right.
It just looks weird. It's an interesting concept. It sounds like Yakuza. I think that's the game that I'm thinking of. Like, the Yakuza is very, like, very Japanese-y, where it's, like, weird, but it's, like, a fun, cool game. Where Shenmue looks like that was the original innovator, and now it's coming back, and it's like, we'll show you how to do it, and it's just gonna not work. I don't know.
Yeah, because I see what you're getting at. Because both of those games' stories are very self-serious, Shenmue and Yakuza, but all the side stuff you do is, like, it's specifically in Yakuza is over-the-top ridiculous.
Yeah.
And there's some of that flavor in the Shenmue games. Like, in the second one, like, I think part of the actual goal of the game is you have to win a duck race, where you pick a duck, and it races against other ducks.
See, goddammit, that's what I'm saying.
But it's not as, like, I've seen Yakuza screenshots of people just getting spanked, and that's like a finisher. I'm just like, whoa, okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that it's not going to reach a large audience like it did before.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even to begin with, the Dreamcast, I don't think it sold that well, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe wrong.
Well, also to bring up is this third Shenmue game is crowdfunded. So there are people who want this game.
That could be... I mean, you're not wrong. I absolutely agree. But that could be whales. Man, there are fucking people throw money at anything that they like.
Oh, I remember Shenmue. I'm a millionaire now. I'll just throw money at it.
Yeah, I produce music, so I'm going to throw shit tons of money at it.
Yeah.
That's just people do that.
So that'll be interesting. That's in August, and I'm kind of bated breath. I want to know how bad of a train wreck it'll be. I really don't want to say it's a train wreck before I see it, but I can't see this game being that. It's not going to win Game of the Year.
It's not.
Let alone a nomination.
Wouldn't it be crazy if it did?
Yeah.
The game comes out and we do a podcast a week later and we're like, we gotta redact that. We were wrong again.
Shenmue 3 is the Pichu of video games. A few other games that are coming out that don't really have release dates. There's supposedly a whole bunch of re-releases of Final Fantasy games coming out, specifically for the Nintendo Switch and the Xbox One.
Yeah, I was to say they did a Nintendo Direct for all the Final Fantasy games.
Oh, did they? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Except for 8 for some reason.
Yeah, well, there's no love for 8.
Personally, a lot of people have their favorites. Not a lot of people love 8. Personally, I like 8. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I was to say it's my favorite. I think maybe they're not doing 8 yet because they want to give it the Final Fantasy 7 treatment. Because as far as I'm concerned, they're both kind of equal in the like factor because it's very divisive in the fan base. It's like you either like 7 or you like 8 and hate the other.
Yeah.
But I think I can speak for both of us. We don't necessarily hate 7. We just the 8 is a little bit stronger for us.
I think 7, in my opinion, and I feel I like to compare it to say Ocarina of Time because they were pre-established franchises that for the first entries in a 3D space. And for a while there, I'm like, oh yeah, Ocarina of Time is way hyped just because it's the first 3D Zelda game. Mm-hmm. And that's how I feel about Final Fantasy VII. The only difference is in the last couple of years, I've gone back and said, especially after watching the video that we mentioned on the last podcast, where it talks about Ocarina of Time and how it has these deep emotional threads.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah. I feel Ocarina of Time definitely deserves the praise it gets. I don't know if I could say that about Final Fantasy VII, but that also might be because I've never really liked Final Fantasy VII that much. Other than the scene where Cloud, back when you were a kid and you're like, oh, Cloud's riding a motorcycle down the stairs. that was cool.
That's so awesome.
But then Final Fantasy VIII comes out and you're just like, the characters aren't monstrosities.
Yeah, they're not
with Popeye arms. Yeah. They actually look like characters. Uh-huh. And dude, this guy's got a sword that shoots bullets. It's awesome.
Dude, Gunblade, come on now.
Oh, dude, that opening cutscene for Final Fantasy VIII is so fucking good.
It's so good. I love it.
Yeah, and not to mention, the ballroom scene won an award.
Did it?
Yeah, the one where Squall's just like, oh, I don't want to fucking dance.
I was going to bring up that meme. Have you seen that before?
What?
Where Renoa goes up to him, and she's like, oh, you're the most handsome guy in the...
Yes.
And he's like...
Yeah, somebody redrew his face.
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's so good. So, yeah, I'm definitely biased. But with all of this said, the reason that we're kind of talking about this is Final Fantasy VII is getting a re-release on the Switch and the Xbone, and then we're skipping over 8 for some reason because we're also releasing 9, 10, and 12, and the reason that we're skipping 11 is because it was an MMO.
Yeah,
but the core series games, 8 has never been on a Nintendo system. The first 6 are on Nintendo.
Yeah,
and then now that we're getting 7 on Nintendo and Xbox. I think even wasn't Final Fantasy 10 on Xbox at some point?
Yeah, I think so.
It definitely got re-released on PC.
Are you a Tidus or Titus guy?
I like calling him Titus.
Same.
Yeah. Tidus is a little annoying in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a little grating on the ear.
But with that actually said, I actually am a fan of Titus. I like his character arc, and I like 10 as a whole. Yeah,
I was gonna say he has his annoying moments, but I feel like he definitely blooms and evolves into a good character.
Yeah, it's more around the last parts of the game that you kind of start feeling, oh, feels bad, man.
Yeah, and you're like, oh,
yeah. Spoilers, he's dead.
Yeah, and you're like,
Everybody's dead.
shit.
So a bunch of Final Fantasy games coming out, re-releases, not remakes.
Like I said, I think 8 is going to get some special treatment. There's got to be a reason why they're skipping it.
I hope so. I don't know if you mean like special treatment in the sense that they've been constantly remaking the 7th game here for a while.
Yeah.
But 7 has a loot. Like, the fans are lunatics for that game.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I think it's going to get like an HD remake. It may not go to the extent that 7 is getting.
Yeah.
But I just can't imagine them skipping 8 and just being like, no, that one never existed.
Dude, they remade 12 before they remade 8.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They go, so did the first 6, and then they're like, we did 7. 7 is on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, your refrigerator, your cell phone. It's on everything.
Yeah.
And then they're like, but 8 doesn't exist, and then now we're gonna do 9, 10, 12. Like, no way.
I feel like Squaresoft is treating it like a black sheep, even though it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe they'll get a little bit of special treatment. It's not going to be this amazing, like, oh, this is crazy, but it'll probably get some love somewhere or another, because there's skipping a whole game that a lot of people like it's weird.
Well, just me personally, other than like 10, if they re-released 8 on Nintendo Switch, I would play it in a heartbeat. I would replay that game in a heartbeat.
Yeah, same. I would like to see a nice little HD, not remaster, but I guess remaster.
Yeah, and I don't say that about a lot of JRPGs. Yeah. Like, the only other JRPG I would say is like, I've been pulling for a Legend of Dragoon remaster for well over a decade now. It's never going to happen. No. But that's another game I would replay in a heartbeat. Even if it wasn't even a remake, if they re-released it on the Switch, I'd pick it up because I love that game.
Yeah, I would too. That'd be nice, man. I'd like to see that.
It would butter my toast.
Who made that game? Was it Square?
It was Square. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh man, when they were Square Soft.
Yeah, Square Soft.
Yeah, okay.
Those were the days.
That's a dead baby in the crib, because that shit is. This is not happening, man.
Speaking of dead babies in the crib, Luigi's Mansion 3 is coming out for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, man, I love me some Luigi's Mansion.
It's some great stuff.
Dollar bills be dropping.
Hell yeah, Batman. I mean, other than that, there's a bunch of to-be-announced games coming out still. The only other one that I feel looking forward to, want to kind of maybe talk about, is Ritual. What is it? Ritual of Blood?
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Curse of the Moon. I'm such an idiot. Bloodstained. Ritual of the Night.
There it is.
Which is spiritual successor to the Metroidvania games made by the guy who did Symphony of the Night and the Castlevania games thereafter. Wow. Igarashi, also known as IGA. Also known as the man with the cowboy hat.
Yeah, that's how you know him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that was also a crowd-funded game. It's been in the works for several years now. I've seen the gameplay for that. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of the graphics direction.
Same.
I'm not a huge fan of 2.5D.
I'm not either. It just looks weird.
Yeah, there are exceptions though. When I played the Mega Man 11, or when I played the new Mega Man game that came out, and that was fun. And I didn't actually mind. I thought the art direction in that was pretty dang good for what it was.
Well, I was gonna say, I think the palette helps that.
Yeah, definitely. There's a color palette in the art direction. Mm-hmm. But other than that, are there any other games that are tickling your tips?
Not really. Oh, actually, you know what? I doubt. I mean, it's not gonna happen for maybe another year or two. But there's a game called Lost Ark. It's if you're a fan of like Diablo and like action RPGs, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But Lost Ark is a Diablo clone, just for the sake of calling it that. That's made in Korea, and it's really cool looking, and they are doing some really fucking awesome looking stuff with like the story and the way it works. The graphics are beautiful. There's like cinematic things that happen as you're playing through the dungeon, like just to give you a nice scene, you're climbing up this like I guess castle, and you're going up like this long stairwell, and there's a dragon in the middle. I guess it's more like a coliseum, and you're going up the coliseum.
Gotcha.
And there's a dragon in the middle, and it's like clawing its way up, and you're like fighting it as you climb up.
Badass.
It's fucking cool. It's really cool.
Ooh.
I think it's in open beta right now in Korea.
Yeah.
So we probably won't see it for another year or so.
PC, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Is it isometric?
Yes.
Okay. Isometric camera view is what I mean by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds neat. Like, what? How are they innovating on the Diablo formula other than just the story, or did they change up some of the mechanics?
Yeah. So some of the mechanics work differently. I mean, I guess not really. It's the way like the classes play. Mm-hmm. They've got more like AoE and stuns and stuff like that. It's a little bit more unique. I think they've kind of got like a Monster Hunter thing going on as well for the end game.
Okay.
Where you can hunt monsters or like, yeah.
That's kind of cool.
And you like make gear out of them. So it's like a Monster Hunter in this kind of game. So
this game sounds neat.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be pretty awesome. I guess people were concerned about the microtransactions because Asian companies are kind of notorious for doing that.
Well, American companies are notorious for it too.
Well, right, but when you think about like China and the way they like,
you think of Tencent and NetEase.
Exactly. But they were concerned with it, but I guess it's not that bad because it's a free to play game.
All right.
Yeah, so as long as I keep that shit up, man, and it's not like stepping the line or over the line,
right?
I think it's gonna be definitely a really good game to play. It'll be a nice. Well, we'll see. Maybe Diablo, 4 or whatever the fuck they're working on is something. Yeah, I saw that too. I guess they're hiring for more Diablo positions.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool, but at the same time, it's like, man, I thought you motherfuckers were working on this already, and why are you still hiring people? But I don't know how that works, so maybe that's just how the industry works. But to me, it sounds kind of interesting and kind of scary.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Blizzard, kind of like Valve, are kind of they go very quiet on their projects.
Right.
Like we don't even know whether or not they had like a working build of Diablo 4 and they just scrapped it for whatever reasons.
Yeah. So we'll see. I hope it's good. I played the other one, so I'd like to play this one.
All right. Well, so that is the year we're looking down the barrel right now. We don't. I mean, last year was a lot of excitement. You got God of War coming out. We had Smash coming out, but now all these games have passed, much like the sand in an hourglass.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll get some surprises later on in this year.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what gets announced at E3, Tokyo Game Show, all those little conference nuggets. So we have a lot to look forward to this year, for better or for worse.
Yep.
And we will keep you guys updated along the way. With that said, my name's Evan.
And this is Robert.
And thank you for joining us on the Atlas Nova. Have a wonderful day.
See ya.